Hi everybody, how you doing? Mike Iaconelli out here in the shop, well actually on the lake doing some shops. We've had a terrific day today. We've caught fish 4 or 5 different ways, and I'm just switching baits up to show you some different rigs, some different techniques. I've got one here that is one of my favorite, what I call sleeper baits, and this is the chicken rig. This is the chicken rig, and to give you just a real quick descriptor of what a chicken rig is, it's a weedless Neko rig that you can throw anywhere. Really cool. I want to show you the system and show you how to rig it, and then we're going to go fish it around and see if we can catch some. The other great thing about the chicken rig is it's a great bait all year round. Winter, spring, summer, fall, in cover, out of cover, sparse cover, heavy cover. But here's the system, guys. This is basically the chicken rig. We're going to start with the hook. And this is a VMC finesse Neko hook. And you know about the VMC Neko hooks. You've heard about them. They're pretty amazing. But this finesse Neko, if you look, has a little piece of fluorocarbon keeper right about 1/8 of an inch below the eye of the hook. And that's a key component when I rig this thing and I show you. I like to use the 1/0 finesse Neko hook on a 5 or 6 inch bait. I like to use the number 1 VMC Neko finesse hook on a 4 or 3 inch bait, and so on and so forth. But this is the bait. Certainly you could use a straight tail worm, trick worm style bait, bottom hopper style bait. Certainly you could use a soft stick bait like a General or a Senko or a Dinger, but this is a really special bait for the chicken rig, and this is a Berkeley power bait flute worm. And if you look at the construction, it's a straight tail worm, it's got a real thin tail section, and it's got a thick, almost bell-shaped bottom, and also has a series of ribs. And here's what we're going to do. For the chicken rig, here's the difference. You ready? Look, we're not going to wacky rig it. We're not going to nose hook it. Nose hooking, right? Just like that. And we're not going to Texas rig. A Texas rig would be like that. We're actually going to turn this bait upside down, tail up. We're going to count to the 2nd rib down. And when we get to that 2nd rib, we're going to go in the body, but horizontally. We're not going to go vertically or this way in the body, but we're going to go up and down in the body. When we do that, we're going to go halfway in the body and pull it out halfway. That's all we're going to do. We're going to finish threading that bait around until we get it past that keeper barb. And when you look, the line is actually coming out of the worm. That's okay, we want that. Then we're going to get the point of that hook, and again, this is the 5-inch flute worm, and we're going to Texas rig it so that the point of that hook is just over one of the ridges. So now we've got basically a Neko rig, but the hook is Texas inside the body. Last but not least, we're going to get a VMC nail weight. You can use the Half Moon Wacky, you could use the regular nail weight. I have the regular one in there right now. And we're going to insert it into that fat bell section of the flute worm. You can see if I peel it back, you can see I have that VMC nail weight. I like a 32nd, a 16th, an 1/8. This is a 16th I have in there. And I want to push that in the body, but I want to leave a little bit of that tungsten or lead sticking out. And there's your chicken rig. Now here's the magic, and I'm going to show you here in a second, is that when that bait sinks, it's got this cool erratic glide, but since the weight is in the fat end, when it hits the bottom, it's going to tick. It's going to peck. And that little lead or tungsten in that fat end hits the bottom, causes a little debris, a little noise, and it looks a lot like natural forage. That could be a little eel, that could be a little dace or darter minnow or a little shad picking the bottom. It could be an eel, it could be a crawfish, it could be a worm, very, very natural in its upright stance, right? So crazy, crazy bait. And when I fish this bait, I do a lot of shaking because I want that bait to constantly tick the bottom. All right, we're gonna fish this thing. I'm gonna fish it around a lot of different type of cover, but we got a little spawning fish in a pad right here. I'm gonna see if I can catch that real quick, and then we'll fish some other stuff. Look at that. Look at that. The power of a chicken rig. That's no joke, guys. I'm gonna get this hook out and let this fish go. But I want to show you that. Look at that. Nice big male. There's our chicken rig. That pecking on the bottom, that little tail, they can't take it, man. We'll let this fish go. We're gonna show you a couple other ways to fish this chicken rig. The versatility of this thing is amazing. It's like a wacky rig, it's like a Nico rig, but it's weedless. Once again, if I can stress something for you guys, it is the pecking action. So that's the magic of a chicken rig, you know, it's like a Nico rig, it's like a wacky rig, but it's weedless. And for sure, the action of that pecking motion, right? Tail up, head down, pecking is really the deal. Pre-spawn, spawning fish, post-spawn, summer, fall, lily pads, wood, skipping docks, it's all good. One of my other little favorite tricks is I love to get a little color. I like red, I like orange, but the chartreuse is one of my favorites. And I'll just get a little chartreuse and I'll put it on the head of that chicken rig, right? On the fat end, because it gives it just a little color down there where it's pecking and gives the fish a focal point. Found another bedfish here. I'm gonna try to catch it real quick. And I really want you to focus in on my rod movement because again, what I'm trying to do is get that bait to tink, 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 tink the entire time, okay? Let's see. Yep. Oh God, yeah, God. He's... Yep. Okay, watch my rod tip. Just constant. And I'm not moving the bait much. I'm leaving it in place. But I'm just shaking my rod tip, right? A lot of shaking because I'm trying to get that bait to peck, 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 peck. And it looks a lot, especially if a fish is feeding on the bottom, if a fish is spawning, it looks a lot like something eating off the bottom. And guys, I can tell you if you're watching this, and even if you're not specifically bed fishing, those bass do not like something that's feeding on the bottom like that. It looks like something trying to get their eggs. They don't like it. But if you've got crawfish in your system, or eels, or dace, darter minnows, dace minnows, this is a really good bait for you. Okay, again, I'm making a cast. I'm letting it sink to the bottom. Once it hits the bottom, I've got my rod in about 1 to 2 o'clock rod position, and I'm shaking it in place. I'm making the bait go doo, 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 doo. Yeah, this fish is gonna go here in a second. You can tell, starting to get a little unhappy with me. See the pecking? This is so awesome, man. This is like a cat and mouse with a chicken rig. You ever hear a cat and mouse with a chicken rig? This is it. She's bit me 4 casts in a row. I got, yeah. Look at that. Whew. Guys, awesome, awesome. Little bit of sight fishing, cat and mouse with the chicken rig. I hope you enjoyed this episode of In the Shop. And we're on the lake talking about the chicken rig all year round, guys. Winter, summer, spring, fall. But for sure, when fish are on the beds, that pecking motion, that little flute worm, that weight in the tail, the fish can't stand it. I hope you enjoyed this one. While you're here, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel. We're giving you great tips like the chicken rig every single week. If you're already subscribed, tell your buddies about Mike Iaconelli Fish on YouTube. I'm gonna let this fish go. Bye.